What's going on, everyone? Russell Westbrook has officially opted into his $47.1 million opt-in contract, so he's officially a Laker for this upcoming season. But a lot of questions is what is going to happen with Russell Westbrook? Are they going to trade him? Are they going to keep him? What options are out there in regards to Westbrook? All signs and all word seems like they plan on keeping Russell Westbrook, which in all honesty, I think is the best option at this time, given the circumstances with Westbrook, right? The problem is the Lakers are kind of in a rock and a hard place because if they trade Russell Westbrook for, let's say, the, Charlotte Hornets package, the issue becomes that if that doesn't work, then you're locked in to those guys for several years. Worst case scenario, if this season doesn't go well with Russell Westbrook, you at least have his money falling off the books, plus LeBron's money falling off the books. You'd essentially have like roughly $100 million to go and spend on free agents. Re-sign LeBron, maybe go get a Bradley Beal, something along those lines to, be your third star, and you're in such a better position. The issue is if you go and trade Westbrook, you're not going to get any assets that are really truly valuable because any team that's doing it, they know you need to get rid of him. And two, you're going to take on contracts that are going to be long term. We just got out of Lou Aldain's contract. Do we really want to get involved in something else like that again? And even like a Rozier Hayward trade, that doesn't make the Lakers a contender in the Western Conference. It just doesn't. And so now, let's say, you're a 6 seed at best. Okay, you lose in the playoffs. You have all these bad contracts. LeBron James is a free agent. And he says, I can't win with these guys. I'm going to leave. Now you're in big trouble. Because now you have all these bad contracts that are just role players, and you have Anthony Davis, but you have no LeBron James. Now you're not even a playoff team, and you're locked into this for several years. So why would you want to put yourself in that situation? Unless you get some deal that's just too good to be true, or a team just is willing to absorb Russ just for the some draft picks or something. But even then, what are you doing with that exception? It's not like there's a ton of availability out there. And this free agency doesn't have a ton of good value. I mean, the Lakers don't have a ton of money. Their best choice at the moment currently is to just keep Russell Westbrook. As much as I'm sure it pains people, as much as it sucks, that's the best option because you're not going to trade him at the trade deadline. I know people are going to say, okay, yeah, just keep him and trade him at the trade deadline. There's no point because either two things are going to happen. Either A, you're not good enough to be a playoff team or a contender, so you might as well just keep Russ and let him fall off the books, or you are good enough, and then therefore, why would you trade him? Keep him, try to win a championship, and if you do, then great. If you don't, again, his money falls off the books. So I just don't see a logical reason to trade for him unless some crazy package comes up. But realistically, that's not going to happen. So your hope is that Darvin Ham can put Russ in the best position to be successful, to win with this Lakers team. Because Frank Vogel did know justice for Russell Westbrook. Now, don't get me wrong. Russ is not completely without any fault. But he was a third option. He did make a lot of sacrifices. And Frank Vogel never put him in a successful position with the Lakers. I mean, how many times do we see Russ and LeBron and Russ and Rondo and LeBron and Russ and THT? Like, come on, there's no way you can run those lineups. The whole reason you went and got Russell Westbrook was to alleviate LeBron James. So why are they playing 40 minutes together? The whole point is to LeBron goes and sits, and now it's the Russell Westbrook show. Or LeBron's out for a game. It's the Russell Westbrook show. Let Russ be Russ. That was the whole point. But Frank Vogel never did that. Not just that, but I mean, how many different lineups did he put out there? And I know some people argue, he was trying to just come up with the best solution and the best options. How do you ever figure that out when you're changing your starting lineup night in and night out? Maybe they're clunky, maybe they don't work for a game or two, but maybe by game 5, they're the best lineup in the NBA. Like, they're just fantastic. How do you know if you never allow things to marinate and develop? And you're constantly changing. And now I got to figure out how to play with these two for 20 minutes. It just becomes an absolute mess. Now, if something along the lines of a Kyrie for Westbrook swap, like if you can get something like that, then you do that trade. Of course you do. Which now makes a lot more sense because Kyrie opted in, which the Lakers needed. The Lakers needed Westbrook and Kyrie to opt in so they could basically do the trade, do the swap. So if you could have a trade like that, then of course do that, or a Bradley Beal or something like that. But realistically, that's probably not going to develop. Now, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, but I don't think the Brooklyn Nets want Russell Westbrook. So are you finding a third team? What route are you going to make it work? Like, let's say Kyrie, or let's say Brooklyn really does just want to move off of Kyrie Irving, because there are reports that the Brooklyn Nets were actually shocked by Kyrie Irving opting in. And there's still questions on what they're going to do, if they're going to still trade him. And the talks of Kyrie to the Lakers is still a real thing, apparently. Whether that's true or not is yet to be seen. We'll find out. All this stuff is just developing, right? Russ just opted in. Kyrie just opted in yesterday. So it usually takes some time. We don't even have free agency until Thursday. So you can see that there's going to be things that are going to develop. But I imagine if that's going to happen, it's going to happen rather quickly. If there is going to be a Russ trade, it's probably one of the first things that happen, because the Lakers probably already have it worked out, figured out, and then they're moving on. But I just don't know if that's the best course of action. And that doesn't mean the Lakers won't do it. I just don't think that they should do it. Like I said, unless you're getting a Kyrie Irving or somebody that is going to be that impactful and just really change the landscape of the Lakers, then you do that. But to get a bunch of like role guys, that you're locked into for the next 3 to 4 years, like, is that really the best course of action? Is that really the best thing to do when you have Westbrook, who you're going to lose $47 million at the end of this year? That's beautiful. Now you can go use that to go get guys, or you can sign your own role players that you want, and actually, sign them to deals you want, rather than overpaying for Hayward. Like, we don't know what Hayward's going to be. He has a lot of injury history. What if he's not that guy anymore? There's a lot of concerns with Hayward. Well, you're locked into him for the next 2 years if you end up signing him on. And then same thing with Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier's going from being the second, third option some nights to being the fifth option. Like, is he still going to be scary Terry? He's still going to be that guy? What is he going to be on the defensive end? What is he going to, is he going to be that much more of an improvement? And if it doesn't work, now you're in trouble. Because now LeBron could just say, look, this team sucks. I'm tired of missing the playoffs. I'm trying to catch Jordan. I'm going to go to a team that actually can win with me. And he's gone. And, and I know some people might say, oh, well, good. Let him go. Let him leave. But that's not the best choice. I mean, if he wants to leave, great. But you don't want to be locked into a bunch of bad contracts when he leaves. If Westbrook and LeBron's money falls off and LeBron leaves, who cares? You have $100 million then, and you still have Anthony Davis. You could either rebuild, trade Davis, get some assets, or if you can get a star or two that wants to come to the Lakers and play with Davis, there you go. Now you got a new big three. No matter how you shake it, the best course of action is to keep Russell Westbrook now that he's opted in. Just let the money fall off the books, eat it for a year, hope for the best, expect the worst, and I think that would be the best, direction to go. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you have 3 guys that are stars in this league. And I know a lot of people say, Westbrook, all this stuff, make all these jokes. Westbrook, don't get me wrong, did himself no favors. But the games where he didn't have LeBron and Anthony Davis, he was that guy. He almost single-handedly won a handful of games for us by himself when he wasn't the third option relegated to standing in the corner. He still showed, I can be that 30-point triple-double guy still. He would have played 82 games for the Lakers if it wasn't for the Lakers making him sit. So, I mean, however bad you feel about Westbrook, he's still a guy that, if used correctly, can be very effective. You should not be playing Westbrook and LeBron 30-plus minutes a game. The whole point is to, sparingly put their minutes. Yeah, you have to start them. Okay, start them at the 5-minute mark. You pull LeBron out and you let Westbrook go crazy. I guarantee you, if you tell Westbrook, look, you got 10 minutes to yourself. I need you to go get me 15 to 20 points. I bet you Westbrook could do it. I mean, he's still that force. He's still that athletic freak of nature, at least at this point. He's still a guy that, yes, he needs to make his layups. He drove me absolutely crazy this year with all the missed layups. But still, he's a guy that I believe if you just give him the green light and tell him to go, he will go and he will be effective in these little spurts, which is what the whole point was. When LeBron's not in the game, you have that guy that can still control the game and do the things necessary, that secondary ball handler. And then in small doses, 10 to 20 minutes a game, you have LeBron and Westbrook because you have them starting and then you have them closing out the game, assuming Westbrook is good. But if you need to, you can sit Westbrook. It looks like Westbrook and Darvin Ham seem to be building a pretty solid relationship, which I think is awesome. I just think the Lakers are going to end up keeping Westbrook. And you still have LeBron and you still have Anthony Davis. If this team is healthy, if they make the playoffs, no team wants to play these guys in the playoffs. I don't care who it is. And none of these teams this past season were world beaters. Like, none of these teams were that great, that scary, that you were like, God, these guys are unbeatable. No, none of these teams were the Warriors with Kevin Durant. Like, Phoenix was favored to win the title and they were out in the second round to the Dallas Mavericks. No one saw that coming. And guess what? The Dallas Mavericks ended up getting beat by the Warriors, but the Warriors looked beatable. The Warriors didn't look unstoppable, and the Lakers are big. Get back to going big. Anthony Davis is an absolute mismatch nightmare for the Warriors and the Suns and most of the teams in the league. But can he be healthy? Can he get back to the AD bubble? Like, if he can get back to bubble AD, then I think this team is monstrous. You know, LeBron's still very likely going to be LeBron. We haven't seen anything to give us, an inclination otherwise. Then you just have to figure out how to utilize Russell Westbrook, and you're good. And I do think Darvin Ham will implement an offense that will help Wes, be a more dominant force out there on the court. I think that, the 1 in, 4 out offense is going to be hugely beneficial. You can have Russ in that one spot, and then he can kind of just be at the rim. You can get him going downhill because the floor spread, stuff like that. There are ways for him to be effective. There are ways for him to just be able to be Russ. Giannis isn't the greatest shooter in the world, and I'm not trying to say Westbrook is anywhere near what Giannis is, but athletically wise and getting to the rim wise, he is. And so Westbrook can get to the rim much like Giannis, and you have the floor spread. I believe Darvin Ham will get the best out of Russell Westbrook, and I think we'll see a different Russ. Now, will that be enough for us to be a contender? I don't know. I don't think so, but you never really know. We've seen things happen. Even the Miami Heat team, as great as that team was, they didn't win the first year. They were clunky at times. They were messed up, and they were all healthy that year. A lot of the reasons that the Lakers didn't make the playoffs was because Anthony Davis and LeBron James missed half of the season. If they played even half of the games that they missed, the Lakers are a playoff team. They're at least in the playoffs, and then who knows what happens. But anyway, real quick shameless plug. I did start As It Stands Lakers. I will link it down in the description below, as well as in the comment section. Go over there, go subscribe. This channel, I talk about, everything sports and all the teams and stuff, but I am a Laker fan, so I figured why not make a channel where I just sort of dive into Lakers stuff as well. And I know that there's a lot of Laker fans as well with this Laker Nation. So again, link in the description or in the comment section. Head on over there, subscribe. I got a couple videos up there already. I'll still post Laker stuff on here and like the big stuff, the big news things, but all of like the little ins and outs and like regular updates for the Lakers, I'll post on As It Stands Lakers. So go on over there and subscribe to the channel as well as this channel. But that being said, as always, I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think about Russell Westbrook opting into his contract? Are you happy about it? Are you sad about it? He was always going to opt into his contract. I've seen a lot of, tweets and stuff and people just complaining how they're so upset he opted in. Like, come on, the guy's not turning down $47 million. But the Lakers needed him to opt in because now they have more flexibility. As long as he is putting the Lakers on hostage because he hasn't opted in, the Lakers can't really do anything. So now that he's opted in, the Lakers have options that they can explore now and see what is the best course of action. But, what do you feel about Russell Westbrook potentially staying on the Lakers? Do you agree with me? Like, yeah, no point in forcing a trade. Let his money fall off if you have to and then go get another star or two or whatever. Is that something that you think that you agree with? Or do you think, no, like do whatever it takes, get rid of Russell Westbrook, if you get locked into those contracts? I just don't want to see the Lakers get locked into bad contracts. And, next year, everybody's like, why did the Lakers trade Russell Westbrook? Because that's going to happen. A lot of the people that say you need to trade Russ for whatever it takes, if LeBron leaves next season and we're terrible and we're not even a playoff team anymore and we're locked into bad contracts for the next several years, everyone's going to blame Rob Pelinka and say that, oh, he should have never traded Russ. It's like I said, it's a rock and a hard place for the Lakers. The Lakers are damned if they do, they're damned if they don't. But again, love your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.